Kamish has finally arrived in Solo Leveling Arise. This December, the game is receiving one of its biggest updates so far. We are getting a full Kamish story and raid, a brand new combat system called Attribute Infusion, a new class built around stacking power, and the first details about the second anniversary events, including an offline event tied to the SLC Championship. In this video, I will walk you through everything that was revealed during the official developer livestream. We will go step by step through the December update, explain how the new systems actually work in gameplay, and talk about what you should prepare for right now. Let us start with a quick overview of what is coming in December. The main patch in December focuses on three big pillars. First, the Kamish content, which includes a cinematic story chapter and a new high-end raid. Second, the Attribute Infusion combat system, together with a rework of the existing classes and the introduction of a new stacker-type class. And third, a set of events and rewards that lead us toward the second anniversary and the next SLC season. All of this was detailed live by the developers, so this video is a summary of that live stream with added explanations and context. Now let us talk about Kamish. In the story of Solo Leveling, Kamish is described as humanity's worst disaster, the dragon that nearly destroyed an entire coast and forced the national level hunters to risk their lives just to stop him. The update brings that story into the game as a dedicated scenario. You will see new cutscenes, new environments, and national-level hunters like Christopher Reed finally fighting on screen against Kamish. On top of the story, there is the Kamish raid itself. This raid is designed as late-game content, similar to Fakna, but with even higher stakes. The fight is split into multiple phases. There is a standard damage phase where you wear down Kamish, a break phase where you focus on specific body parts, and a final phase where crystal-like objects appear and must be destroyed before Kamish unleashes a massive area attack. If your team fails the mechanics, Kamish simply wipes the party. Almost every element has some way to participate, but from the live stream, it looked like wind is the odd one out, while the other attributes will all find roles in different strategies. If you care about min-maxing your hunters, this is the raid that will probably define your builds for a long time. Next, we move to the biggest gameplay change, the new combat system called Attribute Infusion. During the live stream, the developers explained that enemies will now have an Attribute Infusion gauge linked to their elemental weaknesses. When you hit an enemy with attacks of the correct attribute, you build up that gauge. Once the gauge is full, you trigger a state called Overload for that element. While Overload is active, attacks of that attribute deal increased damage, and certain skills or passives gain extra effects. In other words, you are rewarded for consistently targeting weaknesses and for timing your bursts around this Overload window. This system is universal. Every hunter can interact with Attribute Infusion simply by attacking with the right element. However, some hunters are much better at rapidly building the gauge, extending Overload, or taking special advantage of it. Because of this, team building becomes more strategic. You want lineups that can reliably hit weaknesses, rotate skills to keep the gauge going, and then dump their strongest skills and ultimates during Overload. It adds a new layer on top of the existing elemental triangle and break mechanics. You still care about gear, stats, and positioning, but now you also care about controlling when Overload happens and how much damage you can pack into that limited time. To support this system, the game is also restructuring its classes and introducing a new one. Right now, hunters are being organized into clear combat roles. There are strikers, who focus on direct damage. There are breakers, who specialize in breaking enemy defenses and making it easier to stagger or interrupt bosses. And there are supporters, who provide healing, shields, buffs, and debuffs. On top of these, the update introduces a new class concept, the stacker. The first example of a stacker is the new national level hunter from the United States, Christopher Reed. He is a fire attribute hunter who plays a big role in the Kamish story, and his gameplay revolves around building up a special gauge and then transforming. In the live stream gameplay, Christopher has his own unique gauge above the skill bar. By using his skills, he stacks up power. Once the gauge is full, he transforms, entering a powered-up state that dramatically speeds up how fast attribute infusion builds for his team and how quickly overload is triggered. The idea is simple. Every hunter can use the new system, but stackers like Christopher are the ones who truly push it to the limit. They allow your team to hit overload more often and take full advantage of it. That makes a stacker extremely valuable for content like raids, guild bosses, and any future fights that revolve around exploiting attribute infusion. But the update is not only about combat during the fight. It also adds new permanent growth systems outside of battle. One of these is called Hunter Co-op Training. Despite the name, it is not a multiplayer mode, but a long-term progression board. Here you invest resources into combinations of element and class. For example, you can upgrade all fire strikers at once, or all dark supporters, or all light stackers. Each upgrade gives permanent stat bonuses, such as extra attack, defense, or precision, to every hunter that matches that element and class. This means your account power does not depend only on individual gear and level. Even hunters you are not actively using yet can become stronger as you invest in their attribute and class on this board. The materials needed for hunter co-op training and other new growth features come from high-end content, like the Overseer's Library and the new raid. So late-game players get another meaningful progression path to work on, even when their core builds already feel well-developed. Now let us talk about the other December content and events that were shown. A new light attribute weapon is being added, a sword with very flashy, fast animations. It looks like a blade built for critical hits and stylish combos, and from the live stream commentary, it may be closely tied to guild or raid content. End game modes are also being expanded. Battle tiers are being pushed much higher, up to around tier 100, with a new proof of strength style boss that hits extremely hard, especially against shield-based teams. Hidden story chapters gain additional hard and reverse hard stages, offering more challenges and better rewards. The Overseer's Library receives new difficulty options and a secret section, which is where a lot of the new growth materials will come from. There are also quality of life improvements, like changes to custom draw, practice options for certain modes, and periods where you can obtain multiple skins just by playing during event windows. On the festive side, the December event brings holiday-themed outfits for several hunters, including characters like Thomas and Christopher Reed, dressed in winter or Christmas-style costumes. As usual, there will be event currency, missions, and special reward tracks. But this time, the developers also highlighted a very generous long-term event focused on class loyalty. The Hunter Class Loyalty event is especially important. Over time, it allows players to obtain multiple hunters and multiple exclusive weapons for free, simply by participating throughout the event duration. When you combine this with improved level achievement rewards and a login event that hands out upgrade resources and selection chests, December becomes a very good month for both new and returning players who want to catch up. Finally, the live stream used all of these announcements to build hype for the future. The next Solo Leveling Arise Championship and the second anniversary offline event. The new SLC season will once again bring competitive content, but in a more focused format. Instead of many players per region qualifying for the finals, only a small number of top performers from each region will reach the offline stage. According to the schedule shown during the stream, the offline finals are planned around late April, and that offline venue will also host the second anniversary Eve event for Solo Leveling Arise. At that event, the developers want to celebrate 2 years of the game together with players, share details about future updates, and turn it into a festival for the community. For those who cannot attend in person, we can expect live stream coverage, new reveals, and most likely another wave of in-game rewards. So to quickly recap everything from the live stream. The December update brings the full Kamish story and raid, the attribute infusion and overload combat system, A new stacker class starting with Christopher Reed, the Hunter Co-op training growth system, a new light sword, expanded endgame modes, holiday events, and a very generous class loyalty event with free hunters and weapons. At the same time, the developers used the livestream to set up the road toward the next SLC season and the second anniversary offline event, where we will probably see even more content announcements. If this summary helped you understand what is coming in December, feel free to like the video, subscribe for more solo leveling Arise guides and update breakdowns, and share it with other hunters who might be confused about all the new systems. Thank you for watching, and good luck preparing your teams for Kamish and the new era of attribute infusion.